Welcome to the Stay Spicy podcast, where we have honest, fun, and spicy conversations about being your authentic self. Welcome back to the Stay Spicy podcast. Thank you for tuning in again if you're a repeat listener. And if you're new to us, thank you for listening. We hope that you like it and listen to all of our other episodes. This season 3, can't believe we're in season 3, we are talking entrepreneurship. And specifically, we're focusing on women entrepreneurs because we do it different and because we're awesome. Today, speaking of awesome, we have an amazing person, entrepreneur, author, all the things with us, Trena Laine from Calgary, Alberta. She's been a driving force in the beauty industry for years. And what began as a passion for makeup artistry, Trena has grown into a mission that speaks confidence, genuineness, and personal growth. She does all kinds of things, and I'm going to ask her to tell you what those are. Trena, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh, girls, this is so exciting. I'm happy to be here. As I was saying to these girls before we started recording, as soon as I saw Lynette's email, I'm like, I will make time.
That's because you knew you got to say fuck.
So like, you need a girl chat, right? We need a girl chat. And no, I'm that you asked me to jump on, and I'm all things about, inspiring and motivating other women, especially like young professionals. Because I think, and we'll dive into that, right? We're going to unfold a lot of things, but at the same time, you're right. I've been in the beauty industry for 20 years.
Wow.
And there's been like some obviously things that I've navigated through that, hard lessons learned, things that have been beautiful, a lot of memories made. Like there's just so many things you can talk about. And so it's like, how much time do we have, right? When you just want to kind of like pinpoint some stuff. And for me, I specifically now focus more on the coaching, consulting, and training side. And I work a lot with beauty and wellness professionals. And this includes like online training, one-on-one coaching, and also I host like lots of workshops and master classes. Like I feel like that's where I shine. Because as I just said, I feel like we're in a time period where a lot of people are a little confused. And there's just, it's overwhelming, right? So it's like, how does one start? Or you've been in the game for a while. That's kind of where I step in. Yeah. I also have published a book, and that's on love and loss. Unfortunately, my husband passed away just shy of 2 years ago. And that also created a catalyst as to how we work, how we play, how we rest. And this just kind of became part of this journey that I would actually have been on. So this is now like been going to be 2 years. And while it's been messy, it's been also very profound and actually very beautiful, to be honest. Like there's still moments I'm in disbelief and awe that I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. So thank you for having me.
You talk a lot about beauty and where beauty meets mentorship. And that's something about your business that I found like really amazing. Why do you think it's important for those two things to join together? And how did that happen for you?
I think it goes back to the beginning of my time when I started building a beauty career. I mean, I wasn't thinking about strategy and a business plan. It was just, how can I help other women who have cystic acne?
Right.
Hormones, like things are happening and we're only just in our 20s, but yet our body's like acting like it's 13 all over again. So I found myself in this place of moving more into like the wellness and the beauty side. But I also grew up competitive dancing and involved in like,
what
drama.
kind of dancing?
Yeah, musical theater. Lynette, we could talk for days about dancing, right? But it's just, you find something in there and I'm like, I want to help actually other women. And that's still an extension of my brand today. So I think when I sit down with someone or even in a workshop today in 2026, sure, we got social media, we got all these things, blah, blah, blah. That's great. That's a small part of your business. But if you don't understand the foundation and the why, you're going to have one hell of a time, right? Like build what you need first, and then the rest will kind of come, and you build things slowly. And I think about that time period where I wasn't in a rush. Right? Like everyone's like pedal to the metal right now, thinking, okay, great. Especially to the year of the horse right now. Everyone's like, get her. And I was like, slow down. It's January 9th.
Giddy up.
We still have a year. Have we not learned anything? So I'm like, when I look back at that time period, everything was just slow and steady. I mean, Facebook was just new. That was the only like really online thing you could have to promote yourself. Other than that, it was what? Word of mouth, referrals, getting in front of people. So some of those old school tactics I still like. And so I feel like a lot of female entrepreneurs don't quite maybe fully understand that. Or unfortunately, since the pandemic, we've all been isolated for too long, that you're nervous and you're scared, right? So there's so many different avenues. And I look back to how I started. A lot of it still applies today. And I think we still need to make room for that and still need to hang on to some of those old school tactics.
I also think social media has increased the fear of putting yourself out there authentically because there's so much trolling and bullying and just nastiness online. And I mean, we've always been obviously concerned about that, of wanting to be liked and accepted. But it's, when you're talking about these tactics of one-to-one communications and word of mouth and referrals, there's a lot less likelihood somebody's going to be a troll or an asshole to your face. So that, like, if you're afraid of putting yourself out there, try one-to-one. Yeah. I mean, but it takes a lot more balls to be like a dick to someone's face. Totally. It does. So everybody's got internet balls, right? They're like behind their computer, their fake identity. And so from that authenticity perspective, maybe don't go online. I mean, Cherry's probably going to hate me for this because her whole business is digital communication. But yeah, start by talking to people, human beings.
Yeah, learning a thing to have a conversation. Like, I feel like somewhere along the way, you're right, like people just got a little scared. But I also feel like the word authenticity is now trending and no one actually really understands that either.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, oh, your Instagram, like you talk about the real things. And I'm like, but that's only still like maybe like 1/8. Like, because you can't really shed your whole entire life on social media. And social media is just a small part of all the other components for me running my business. Like, everything's got to work in harmony and nothing's ever perfect. But for me, I'm like, if I may go back, there was a time where I felt the same way, where I just was like, I don't even know my own place right now. I don't know if I'm having a breakdown, a potential breakthrough. Maybe it's both. And I was kind of going through, I don't want to say a phase, but we all go through it, where you're just like, who am I right now? What is going on? Plus, there were some struggles that were also happening in my marriage. My husband also, too, was like mentally not well. He was running himself down to the ground, working all the time. So we had this also conflict in our home. And when you have conflict in your home and you don't know how to navigate that, like, how do you kind of perceive yourself to the rest of the world? And when Aaron passed, I felt like that's all of a sudden, too, that was a part of me that everything just was like, holy shit, like, we got to have conversations. We got to talk, because I am not alone and Aaron wasn't alone. Like, it just created this whole like boom within like all of our networks, like everything across, like all the people we know across Canada, just created such a ripple effect. Because what man in their 40s is passing away? But that seems to be kind of like a thing right now. And so it's opening up the opportunity to have more of these conversations and providing more tools, more resources to start to kind of help each other. Because if we can't take care of this, how do you take care of anything else, including a business?
And that's so important in entrepreneurship as well, because you do feel really alone and it is really stressful, and feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Yes. Even if it's just you and your business, it's that knowledge that it's up to you to make or break it. And then when you have people who rely on you and employees, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to that. How do you approach now that aspect of wellness and incorporating that into specifically being a business owner, an entrepreneur?
Well, I'll be honest, like the first year, like 2024 after Aaron passed, I was like, what needs to go? It's time for a cleanup. So when everyone was talking about, the snake shedding season of 2025, I was like, oh, mine started in 2023. Like, little LOL on top of like all the gloom and doom. But for me, I was like, okay, let's focus. Let's just bring it back in. What needs to go? And so I feel like I've just been like cleaning things up, removing things, and understanding, what do I actually really enjoy? So I'm no longer doing weddings. Like, I'm not part of the wedding industry. I said goodbye to that after 16 years. I mean, that was a slow transition that took the rest of 2024 to do that transition. And once in a while, I still get an email. Hey, you did my sister's wedding. I'm like, unfortunately, we're not in the wedding industry anymore, even though we have it everywhere, even on the form, but no one's reading anything. They just, reach out because they're excited. So, removing like certain things, understanding, where do I shine? What actually brings me joy? Getting back to my place of, a massive like heart checkup. Like, what is it that I actually want to do that doesn't always feel like work all the time? And I'm pretty sure you girls get that, right? Like, let's launch a podcast to have these conversations, right? Because it brings what? Joy.
Yes, this brings me joy.
And sharing the love with everyone else, right? So that was like a good of 2024. And 2025 was, I want to now build my foundation differently where it's a little bit more sustainable. And that I've taken some of my old tactics, brought that kind of back in. I've had room to kind of recreate, if you want, redesign a little bit. And then this is where I've been having now the opportunity to also now really spend time with like other professionals and be like, let's try this. Mm-hmm. We're not panicking. We're not running into things with fear. We're not just going to throw something to the wall. Like, what's the rush?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everything I've been doing is a bit more slow and steady. And that feels yummy to me.
That's a really good point, Trena. Yeah. And it's also like finding like beauty in every day. And I think your business is so interesting because when we do get back to those conversations around social media and the beauty industry in general. And, it's really about trends and transforming yourself into somebody else. And that completely flies in the face of your business model, which is beauty isn't about trends. It's about, and I'm quoting your website, honoring and enhancing your natural essence. So did you face pressure or any sort of pushback from the industry when, an industry that tries to continuously change women and change entrepreneurs, when you think, your natural authenticity is an asset, your natural beauty is an asset?
100%. I think a lot of people thought, well, she's a bit rogue. Don't fucking care. Because at the same time, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, this is just how it's going to be, right? And at the same time, I'm like, for me, it was always just, again, coming from a place of like, the transformation on the inside has been more of my interest than the actual typical beauty world. Because so many of us girls, like, we're pressured into think we need to look a certain way. We need to have this, we need to have that. And we're investing all this money into certain things. But what is it actually really doing for us on the inside? So I actually talk a lot about surface healing, where we think we need to run to all these things, do all these appointments, do all these things because we think that is wellness. Meanwhile, I'm like, how is that actually really helping you on the inside? Now, don't get me wrong. A fresh haircut and getting your nails done. Yes. Right? But there's like also just like understanding, are you comfortable with yourself?
And also, when it comes to like assessing ourselves and, I'm sure as many women, I grew up looking in the mirror and pointing out immediately all of the imperfections. I didn't look for the parts of myself that I loved or that I liked because they didn't exist. And always would look to someone else and be like, I wish I had her fill in the blank. And I think about that Mean Girls movie, right? Where they're all in the mirror picking themselves apart and like encouraging the others to do it. But the thing of like, I always, where we want what someone else has, that person looks at us and thinks the same thing in the opposite of like, I wish I had her this, that, and the other thing. I think the same goes for our internal qualities too, right? We look at someone and we go, these women doing this podcast or Trena getting up on stage and giving a keynote speech. I could never do that. And we miss all the beautiful parts of ourselves by trying to aspire to be someone else or to compare ourselves to other people. So I think beauty is also that metaphor for how we see ourselves in general.
Yeah, on the inside. I know we're so fast to talk ourselves out of something because we think we're missing a component. Meanwhile, I'm like, we're the entire package. What is missing?
And a big part of that, I think, is choosing joy. That's what I'm going to interpret of your previous statement when you were like, not just just weeding out the shit you don't want to do. And I think it's not just the what, it's also the who. Like if you're weeding certain people out of your life that don't bring you joy, but it's not just choosing not to do something, but actively choosing. And you did mention that, things that bring you joy. And that's something that I came to a realization as well in life, that joy is a choice. And it's something I have the responsibility to seek out and create for myself. It doesn't happen by accident, but you can also find it and look for it in every day. And I think that same goes for your business, right? It's like, is curating your business not based on just how can I make the most money, but also like what brings me the most joy.
Seriously, like literally just said that in my workshop yesterday with these girls, because they're all kind of like, well, I need to. And I'm like, well, yes, the math needs to do the math. You got to pay your bills, like put the roof over your head, do the things. And I'm all for ambition. Mm-hmm. But if you're choosing things that doesn't actually essentially make you happy, why are we doing this? And it goes back to like the same thing, because I had those hard lessons too. I don't know if it was just out of panic, trying to rebuild my business from the pandemic. And then I thought, well, I'm really great at this. And I did like a full pivot, and I realized, no, like I was a real estate agent for like 5 minutes. I was like, why am I adding more of this hustle that I'm trying to actually get away from? Like, I'm like, I don't want to go back to 2019. I was already there. And I already know what burnout feels like. And then that's where, again, like if we're not taking care of our well-being and actually who we are, we're no longer having fun. And then you start projecting that to the world. And then I will say this too, Lynette. Then I feel like I am now attracting the wrong people because my mindset is not strong and not healthy.
No.
So by 2023, I was like, something's got to shift. And I was like, something needs to change. And I was asking for change. And I mean, you can laugh about it, you can cry about it, but I did get change.
And I was talking to someone today about some of my clients, and I one of my clients in particular, and I'm like, she's just the best. I love her. And this person said, I bet you have some shitty ones too. I was like, actually, I don't, because I don't work with shitty people. Because I say, no, thank you. Not for me.
Yeah.
And not just shitty, but like, if you're not for me, if I don't like you and I don't enjoy working with you, it's not worth it for me. And that was a big lesson for me as an entrepreneur, that like I can make that choice and I should make that choice, and not to accept things out of fear.
Yeah, I feel that deeply. That was working on some ad campaigns with my marketing team, and the things they were presenting to me, I'm like, I think we need to go back to step one, because I don't need all the clients. I'm not interested in all the people. I'm like, we need to like narrow this down. I'm like, there's a certain type of client that I'm looking for. And I'm like, that's what we need to focus on. I don't need the world. I just need this.
I do think too, the new trend has been like self-reflection. And I remember like 10 years ago, it was the whole wake up at 5 a.m. and work out and get your protein. And the tech sector was at front and center, and get your watch and get your steps and do all your things. And I don't know, it was weird because, yeah. And now it's, doing nothing and being with the right people and having like reflective time and creativity time is the new luxury. Like that is the thing that people aspire to be. And I think too, like when you talk about beauty and, people, like Lynette said, people are, the first thing we want to do is kind of see what we see about ourselves, but we don't also think about what others see in us. And that's beauty, that's business, that's entrepreneurship, Johari window exercise that we talk about in personal branding.
Yeah.
So when did you realize that you were also coaching people? Like it seemed like you were always doing this anyway, but what was that like moment where you went from the beauty chair to the coaching office and kind of...
It was kind of right from the start, to be honest, because I started doing like private makeup lessons. And then that's where I realized I'm actually really good at teaching. And then it turned into now I'm hosting like women's events in my living room. Like it was just like those baby steps kind of along the way. And then I was hosting classes and I was doing all these things. And then I'm originally from Saskatchewan. So I started my career, built everything in Regina, and then we relocated to Calgary. And then when I got to Calgary, it was like instantly in a week, I felt like I was at home. Like I'm already meeting the right people. Again, right? Attracting all the things you need. And I ended up actually really quickly developing a relationship with the Aesthetic Institute. And they're still my partners today. They were looking for a professional makeup artist to maybe perhaps take over, help with a few things. And let me tell you, we have built something really special together, just from like that moment forward. And it's just, again, like all these things you just start to take care of, right? And you're like, here's my work valley. Here's my bubble. Again, how much more do you actually really need? And so really, I kind of quickly was like already there. And then I was like, you're like, boom. And I'm doing all these things. But that's probably because I'm having fun.
Right.
And when I'm having fun, then I feel like you're attracting, again, those right people, all the things we're just saying. And I'm like, that's where it's got to be. When you're having fun, then it doesn't always necessarily feel like work. Doesn't mean it's not hard. Because there are other humans involved.
And not just fun at work. I think when you're having fun in life, I truly believe that it brings the work in too. Like there is a lot of uncertainty when you're an entrepreneur. I was coming into this year and I said to Sherry, like, I have some contracts and it could go either way. I could end up with none of them or all of them could be going gangbusters. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I'm not going to panic and go try and like hustle for more clients and try to like act out of desperation. I will figure it out. I have lots of cool creative projects that I can take on if not. And also I'm just going to keep dancing, obviously. And I mean, I don't mean to sound sort of ridiculously Pollyanna about it, but it did just work out. Like now I'm busier than maybe I'd like to be, but by just being me and living my life, I do feel like things and opportunities and people come my way.
Yes.
And I don't have to go hunting and searching for them.
No.
Not minimizing the need for sales and marketing and all the things, because that's also like the business I'm in. But there is some kind of beautiful power in just living the life that you want to live and trusting that that's going to attract the things and the opportunities and people that fit into that. And I feel like when I say that, people don't believe me. And I get it.
You know, right? Or when you're like, stop having such a tight grip on the things, they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Let go.
Isn't this what we do?
Although it's like when I'm dancing and the teacher's like, relax. And like my instinct is to tense up immediately. I get it. When somebody tells you a thing, you think the opposite, but it's true. I don't know how you feel about that, about that sort of like, again, pursuing joy and whether it's work or life, and that tends to just attract more of it.
Honestly, like that's what I felt like. I used to always just feel like I was always attracting the right things. And then I just felt like things were just kind of getting a little out of hand. And then that's when I realized I put myself here. And I think that's always the first step, is taking that full responsibility to also then give yourself permission to be like, but we can change this. It's going to take time, whatever that needs to be. So for the last like couple of years, it's just been slow and steady. There's been a few things that you're like, okay, I was close to like, something from the past where you're like, oh, wait, we learned a hard lesson from that. But at the same time, I think lessons and messages, like what's really like being presented to us. And I haven't moved with a lot of anxiety. I haven't really been moving, like you were just saying, like not panicking, not pushing. Like right now, things are kind of quiet for me, but I know why. I get the keys to my new home tomorrow and I'm moving. So obviously everybody upstairs is like, let's give Trena some space. Because I already know coming in March with a few things I have on my plate, everything's going to start to like really snowball. But that first step was like, we need to help Trena take care of what she needs to take care of. But I think when it's kind of quiet, that's when people lose their shit.
Yes.
Am I right? Doesn't mean I haven't had a moment here and there where I'm like, you're back from that person yet. But at the same time, I'm like, no, again, reminder, I haven't come this far in this journey in the last 2 years to be like, there's a reason why these things are unfolding the way they need to. And you're right. Everything always happens the way they need to. It's the same thing too, where you're like, oh yeah, I need like extra money for this or something. And guess what like shows up? You know, like it's like all these things. It's like everything that you're just, when you're aligned, I think, with yourself, everything, right? It just creates like a big funnel going back and forth. And I think it's beautiful. And I have moments where I panic at 2 a.m. and that's okay.
I mean, feel the panic. Don't act out of panic.
Exactly. That's where you don't send an email.
No.
Where have you been?
That's where you call your Sherry. And she tells you to take a deep breath.
I remind you, you're right where you need to be. But like,
exactly.
yes. And we do have to be honest with ourselves too. Like we built that piece. Like this is 20 years in the making, building the piece. Like I do talk to young folks who are just like right out of school and they're like, I want to do what you do. I want to be a consultant. I'm like, well, in order to do that, you have to have experienced quite a bit of things and have a lot of experience in that. And I didn't like right now. Yes, I have that sort of breathing room to get creative and all that, but keeping in mind that used to look like 60 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
It used to look at being on maternity leave, putting that work in, but also that leaves you to, when you're building your path, you're like, what am I working for? So you are working for the ability to have the peace and live the life that you want now. So we are sort of these examples that like the goal is not to work. The goal is to have that freedom. And I think entrepreneurship and freedom, the conversation around that is so much more stronger and enticing than anything hustle culture can throw at you, right? It's really finding your niche. It's finding who you are. It's finding like what lights you up. And then finding ways to do that for a living and enjoy the work that you do. But ultimately, you have to like to work.
Yes, 100%. I think, too, it's like we also live in a time like work when you feel the most energized.
Right.
Like I go like season by season, too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and going back to like the new year and the year of the horse, I was like, I'm not a resolution person. Like, I'm just like, it's January.
Yeah. Calm down.
Just still the time of breath. Like, it makes you sit right giddy up. I was like, I'm not like in a stampede. Like, I'm not in a race to anything. You all do what you got to do, but I'll
just
do
chilling in the meadow, munching on some grass.
I'm still sleeping in until 7:30 because it's dark. Like, like things like that. Yeah, forget that 5 a.m. club. I haven't done that shit in years. I was
gross.
like, and I think about that too. Like right before it's like close to like 10 a.m., how much I would squeeze in a morning. And then I would still have the whole day and like whatever. And I'd be exhausted and flat out and not available mentally.
Yeah.
So that was like one of my main things was let's slow down the mornings.
I love slow mornings.
Me too. And when I have a cup of coffee, just have a fucking cup of coffee. Why does it have to be a zillion things? Granted, there are some mornings where you're like, okay, I got to get into the email inbox. I got to do this. Or you're in a creative moment. Like I like to write a lot.
Yeah.
So, but most of the time I'm just like, just chill. Like, why am I trying to cram so much in?
100%.
That's my favorite part about being an entrepreneur. I call them entrepreneur mornings. Where I can wake up at my own time, have a cup of coffee, and like ease into my day, get my brain where it needs to be. And then I'm so much more productive rather than forcing myself and like my brain is not there. But just choosing it, I think it goes to what you're saying is like curate intentionally every part of your life. And the line I hate the most from people is I don't want to, but I have to. You actually don't have to do anything realistically. You have a choice. There are consequences to not doing things, like to not paying your taxes, for example, but no, you don't have to
but
do
you
anything.
Get to, right? Like, there's also that side where I'm like, I get to do these things. Yeah, like 100%. That was even too, like I was trying to do a different, I rehired another personal trainer to do a different type of workout and things were just getting like to be too much. And then that's how I found I was starting to kind of do like the morning routine again, where you're trying to cram so much in. And this was just a call. So then I did a 5K race, my first 5K race. But I'm like, I'm not even a runner. Like, I'll go for walks. But I was like, I can handle a 5K race. We'll try that. I ended up actually injuring myself. But I was injured before. So then it was during the race. I was like, oh, something's not right. And then guess what you end up spending the next 2 months doing? Fixing yourself now. So I was like, hello, like, what have I not learned? So it was like over just like a short amount of time that I was like, why was I doing that again? Let's get back to like what was working. I'm like, why did I interrupt my rhythm? What felt good? What felt yummy? Like, and it wasn't because like the 5K was just a thing. I just took on too much, all this other stuff that I thought I just needed to be tackling.
Yeah.
Again, how much more
should all over ourselves? I should this. I should do that. I should be doing this. Stop shooting on yourself.
Yeah, honestly. Like I broke up with my Fitbit. I was like, I've had enough. I don't need to know how many steps I got in. I don't fucking care anymore. I go for my walks. I do my thing. I do mobility. I do whatever I want right now. And I'm like, let's just stay here. It feels good.
What is, and we ask all of our guests this, and it's my favorite question. What is an entrepreneur myth or an entrepreneurship myth that you either have been told or that you just believed that you know now to be not true?
Oh, I like this one. It might even cover like a few things. Not everything is cookie cutter. Right. So this person's got a social media plan. This one's got a different marketing plan. This person needs to do this. This person's doing that. Forget them and focus on exactly what you need to do. Like, I feel like it can just be as simple as like block the world out, because I think that's what's happening too, right? Everyone's watching everyone else. And I'm like, who cares? So I think when you go to take a course or a certain thing, add to your skill set. But at the same time, is that really actually part of the plan? And I also think another myth, you don't need to have so many like fancy certificates and this and that. Be certified in the things you need to. But at some point, I think when you like, look at all of us, right? We got what, 60 years altogether at this point, total with the three of us here, right? Doing what we're doing. And at the same time, I'm like, at some point, you're now like an expert in your field. You know what works, you know what doesn't work. You just need to trust. You've been there before. This was great. That was fucking terrible. Like, there's just all these things, right? So I think it's just getting back to, at some point, stop thinking you need to keep adding, you know, all these things to your plate when maybe what you have already is good enough and it just needs to be tweaked and massaged.
And who is it for?
Right. Who is it? Yeah.
Because it's probably not for you. I get asked all the time when people ask me what I do, and I tell them all the sort of various business things I do. Oh, do you have an MBA? And I'm like, no, I have an experienced MBA, I guess. But it's those kinds of questions, and they're not even poor intention, but just it's like we've set a societal expectation. And so when we're chasing all these certifications, it's because we feel like we have to, because we feel like someone else won't take us seriously if we don't. Yes. So I'm like, if you're doing something, who is it for? Is it for you or is it for someone else? And do you actually give a shit what that person thinks about you?
Yeah.
We are not taking our own advice enough. Like, we are just not. And it's interesting because women will come up with the idea, do the work, start the business, run the show, do something novel, make tons of money, and then sometimes not trust our own instincts. And I think that, you know, I talk about this every episode, how women entrepreneurship is growing faster than anything else in the business world. In Alberta, there are more women entrepreneurs than male entrepreneurs. Like, it is just booming, and we're changing the way business is done, and it's not going anywhere. So there is a lot of bad business practice, a lot of bad advice. I think it's just, it's time for us to step up and support each other and trust our own guts. So
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think too. And it's like, not even just like women's, lose my voice, working with like other female entrepreneurs. Like, I've been able to tap into also like more male dominant industries in the last year. And our brothers are hurting too, right? So it's like, how can we actually properly work and coexist together? And a lot of my conversations too is like, there's still blurred lines in our roles between like home and work.
Yes.
But I think there's a way to still, I'm with you. Like, we have a bit to go. Absolutely. But at least we've come like far enough to now understand, to be like, I have confidence to start my own thing. Like, that's step one. And then to go and do it, right? But having the proper resources and tools. But it's funny. I felt like I was just saying this on another podcast. I've been kind of understanding, like, how did we get here as a society too, with like work ethic?
100%. Yeah.
Right. And as Lynette just said, like, no, like, I don't need to have letters behind my name to know that I'm making an impact. Like, there's things like that too. Right. So, I think the more we kind of have these conversations and rally, I think would be great. And it's not even just in business. Like, if I can even just share this. Last week, I had a lady tell me, don't wait too long. You should find someone soon.
What? What? For
And
what, though?
Posted,
What am I finding them for?
finding a man.
Yeah, but like for what?
Exactly. And I just thought to myself, I was like, thank you. And I'm like, here again is like more unsolicited advice that I didn't ask for.
Bad advice.
And I felt like I mean, even too, because I felt Aaron couldn't have kids, so we designed our life differently. It doesn't mean we didn't go through a tough time with like whatever we needed to, right? But I'm in my 30s building my career, and I remember a woman, I was doing a wedding, and this aunt of the whatever, all of a sudden she's like, oh, do you have kids? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, you're one of them. You focused on your career. And actually, you didn't even know my story.
Wow.
I would just say that. Like, there's like
such judgment.
right? Like, assumptions there. And Aaron once in a while would get questions, but not as like to the degree that I would. No. And then since like, well, being a recent widow, there is some like unsolicited advice that sometimes just comes your way. And it's the same thing because I'm like, you don't know what people are going through. You haven't even asked questions to even like provide advice. And that's the same too in business. If you don't know the full landscape or the scope or what that human has gone through, you're not helping anybody.
And what is your, and if we could close out with on that note, and people are coming to you for your advice, Trena, and you're mentoring them, and they're probably having a lot of the same experiences as you. What are your hopes for female entrepreneurs and those that you coach for the future and where business is right now?
Create something sustainable, because right now, as women too, I feel like we shoulder a lot. Being like, oh, it's okay, I'll just do this. Like, I think we need to like delegate better. I think we need to actually just say, I need help. I need you. I'd like you to be part of my team. This is what I need. Are you able to assist? Like, I think we just need to ask better questions. I think we need to put things more out on the table. We need to expose ourselves a little bit more. We don't need to think and move like a man, but having masculine energy at times does serve its purpose. But I think we need to build something that feels soft to us and makes us feel safe and secure. Because I'm like that too. Money's not my drive, but feeling just safe and secure and with who I have. And you don't need everybody, build some really good, solid partnerships just with a few people and watch the magic. Yeah. Watch the magic.
I love that.
I love that. Beautiful advice from a beautiful person, Trena. Want to thank you for coming today. Where can we find you online and our listeners as well?
Oh, that's a great question. Everything actually is on my website. You can go to trenalaine.com. I'll spell it TRENALAINE.com. And it'll guide you to everywhere you need to go.
Amazing. All right, Trena, and thank you for everyone else for tuning in today on the Stay Spicy podcast. You can find us at Stay Spicy Inc. online and on social media. Tune in to our next episode. We're talking about entrepreneurship this season. And if you want to connect with us, we'd love to hear from you. hello@stayspicy.ca, or you can ping us on social media. See you in the DMs. Thanks, everyone.
Slide into our DMs.
Slide in. Right.
Slide in. Stay spicy.
Thanks for listening to the Stay Spicy podcast.
We love hearing from our listeners and want you to be part of our community. So connect with us on social media at Stay Spicy Inc.
And visit us online at stayspicy.ca.